All right, so if you're a healthcare professional and you've ever dreamed of working overseas, you know there's that one giant hurdle, right? The English test. But what if it wasn't a hurdle at all? Today, we're going to dig into a very specific exam that is totally changing the game for doctors, nurses, and a whole lot of other people just like you.
I mean, think about it. What if the test you had to take wasn't about some random academic topic you'll literally never use again? What if it was built from the ground up to test the exact conversations you have, the situations you face, and the notes you write every single day at work? That's the big idea right there.
So let's start with that hurdle everyone knows. For years, you've had to prove your English skills. It's just been one of those boxes you have to tick to get a job abroad. But for so many people in healthcare, it has always felt, well, completely disconnected.
And you know exactly what I mean. Your entire day is about communicating really complex medical info, showing empathy, and working with your team in a super fast-paced clinic. And then you sit down for your English test, and it asks you to write an essay on, I don't know, climate change or the benefits of public art. It's just a massive disconnect, and it's a frustration a lot of people feel.
Well, this is where a totally new approach comes into the picture. To fix this exact problem, a different kind of test has gone from being just a niche option to a global player. And it's called the Occupational English Test, or as you'll hear it, OET.
So, what is it? Put simply, the OET is an English exam designed for healthcare workers. Its whole purpose is to see how well you communicate in a real hospital or clinic setting. You know, a place where clear communication isn't just a nice-to-have skill, it's absolutely critical for patient safety.
And this little comparison really just says it all, doesn't it? Instead of testing you on broad academic language, OET is 100% focused on the language of your workplace. And that means the time you spend studying for it is also time spent improving your actual clinical communication skills. The whole focus shifts from just passing a test to being a better, more effective practitioner from day one.
Okay, so that all sounds good in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in practice? Let's break down how OET tests the skills you're using every single day in the clinic, because this isn't about theory, it's all about real-world application.
The test is basically designed to feel like a real patient interaction. So you might start by listening to a consultation to pull out the key info, just like you would when taking a patient's history. Then, you might have a role play where you have to explain a treatment plan clearly to the patient. And finally, you might have to write a professional referral letter to another specialist. These are literally your daily tasks, just turned into a test format.
But the OET gets even more specific than that. It's not just a one-size-fits-all test for anyone in healthcare. Nope. And that brings us to this number right here, 12. So what's the deal with 12?
It's the number of different healthcare professions that OET makes a specific test for. So if you're a doctor, your test is all about doctor scenarios. If you're a dentist, you won't be dealing with pharmacy questions. Each version uses the language and situations from your specific field, and that makes preparing for it so much more relevant and, honestly, just a way better use of your valuable time.
So, why is this practical, super specific approach getting so popular all of a sudden?
Well, the rise of OET isn't just happening on its own. It is directly tied to some major shifts in global healthcare and what countries are now looking for when they recruit talent from around the world.
The reality is, healthcare systems everywhere are facing some pretty huge challenges. We've got massive staff shortages, aging populations needing more care, and all the pressures left over from the pandemic. All of this has put international recruitment into overdrive. But when you move that fast, you need to be certain about the skills people have.
And this quote pretty much sums up the new way of thinking perfectly. The goalposts have moved. It's not just enough to speak general English anymore. Hospitals and medical boards, they need proof that you can step into a real clinical setting and communicate safely and effectively from day one.
So here's the bottom line. The focus has moved squarely onto patient safety and solid team communication. Language isn't just seen as a formality you have to get through anymore. It's now being treated as a core clinical skill, just as important as any medical procedure you do. And all of this has led to a major change in OET's status. It's getting recognized all over the world, which has a direct and really powerful impact on the careers of medical professionals just like you. For instance, it's now accepted for healthcare registration and visas all across the United Kingdom, which is a huge destination for international health workers.
It's pretty much the standard in Australia, which is actually where the test first started, and its acceptance is growing like crazy across North America, too.
It's also the go-to standard for anyone in healthcare wanting to work in New Zealand. And then there's the really big one. It's now accepted in the United States. It's officially recognized as an alternative for testing the communication skills that used to be part of the big medical licensing exam. For anyone looking to work in the US, this is an absolute game changer.
So what this all means is that OET is way past being some kind of niche, alternative test. It has become a global benchmark. For a lot of healthcare professionals, it is now the new standard for proving you have the communication skills you need to work safely and effectively in an English-speaking country.
So we're going to end with this question on the screen. The rise of OET really challenges all of us to think about language in a new way. It's asking us to stop seeing communication as just a soft skill or some bureaucratic hoop to jump through, and to start seeing it for what it actually is, a core clinical skill, just as vital to patient safety and quality care as anything else you do.